welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll look into a scenario in which North America and Europe go to war. But to start the video, we're going to start and give the Europeans an advantage. Just because they have a disadvantage. But we'll start. They managed to successfully land in all the Caribbean islands and take them out. They take over the Panama Canal and they move north and south, although they don't go into the Darien Gap. And then France does its invasion again. And well, they get drove out, because that's what always happens to France and North America. They get drove out. Except St. Pierre, let's be honest. And Britain takes back the Dominion of Newfoundland, because there's nothing better to do. And maybe let them land in Greenland. Look, Denmark's making an invasion, and then they stop. Because they're really invading themselves, so technically they're in a civil war. With the Americans being incompetent at this point in the war. Which leads to this small piece of land left. But this is where they're inconfident. With them taking back Newfoundland for Canada. And moving into Cuba. Taking over Jamaica and moving into Hispaniola. And setting up a naval blockade. But it's not the worst. And a landing in the Yucatan, a landing here. Try and take the capital. And a movement into the south. And well, they make it pretty far. With a pocket that you probably thought was going to get demolished. With the Europeans that are left in this area with no naval supremacy or anything. They literally make an advance. And the Americans withdraw from Yucatan and decide to try their luck somewhere else. Which ends up being Panama, and all the warlords in the Darien Gap give it up. Darien. I can't even say it, I guess. As they launch another offensive into southern Mexico. Don't forget, there's also Mexican forces fighting in this. Not just Americans, but as we know, American forces are stronger. But the Canadian forces decide to go to Greenland. This is pretty useful, I guess. And then they land in Iceland. Which is pretty good for them. They take it over. With Europe not able to get these forces out, eventually they're all taken prisoner. And they decide to go after the British Isles at this point. So Canada and the US launch a few landings in Ireland. Angerland, is it? With them managing to spearhead and take Dublin. And they've managed to take Cork. And so on. But British forces land and push them back. Along with Irish forces. They think they can kick them out. Almost do. This is an American landing. With a Canadian landing happening here, along with an American over here. With Britain pushing everyone out except the most northern one, so the Canadians take advantage of their northern spearhead. And America does this, with Mexico eventually getting a landing over here. Of them taking advantage of this taking, they move into Northern Ireland. Ireland resists as much as it can, yeah. England pushes the forces back, but they got something coming. That they weren't expecting to be possible. A landing in Cornwall. And they move into Wales. They even take England the spearhead. With them deciding if they should go north in their next landing or not. With them deciding maybe we can do a bit of naval activity. But then they decide they could go north or they could go in south and take domination over the Mediterranean. But they decide to go into Denmark and take Denmark over. but a lot of forces so they don't get pushed back. With them getting about there in the Norway-Sweden front, but then they're basically kicked out. And plus, a few more times they're pushing in and pushing back and pushing in and pushing back. They eventually get to here, but Swedish forces kick them out of Sweden. And then almost out of Norway. Them realizing another front is vital. So they decide to put in the north over here. They go through mountainous terrain and they cut Sweden off from resources, pretty much, and they move down Norway's coast. But Sweden decides they'll open up access to Finland, with Finland launching an offensive along with the help of Russia and Sweden. Oh my god, Russia and Sweden working together. That sounds... With Oslo being taken back, and this is like the stalemate of the front. But America decides to land in the north of Russia. Wait, what, are they doing this again? Don't they know how it went last time they invaded Russia? It's true, in 1920 they invaded Russia. Crazy to think. But that went pretty bad because the troops were demoralized. They weren't moralized enough. And then they end up getting pushed back because it turned winter. Okay, guess history really does repeat itself. But that distracted troops, so they got kicked out of Denmark in here. So then they decide Operation 2. And Operation 2 is landing 50 times. They land here. And they try to take over Portugal first, which they do. And now they're moving into Spain. And well, the troops aren't getting to Spain fast enough. So by the time they get there, there's enough American troops to hold a stalemate at the Pyrenees, with them withdrawing to the Pyrenees Mountains and losing island after island. Yes, Italy is strong, but are they strong enough to push America back? And well, they pushed them off the Italian peninsula, but that front didn't work, and it was really probably more of a distraction. And you may think, what? That can't be right. They were going after Greece, and they even take Thrace. And Greece, there's no way Greece is with... Maybe push them back a few times, maybe not. That they're not holding the strongest front. With them moving into the Balkans, German and French and Italian troops and Russian troops all arrive, along with Ukrainian, and Belarusian, and so on, and this becomes the Balkan front. Although not yet, because it hasn't reached a stalemate yet. But with there being almost no forces in Scandinavia, they try their luck again. With the surprise allowing them to advance fast, so Sweden and Finland make a counter-offensive. But don't worry, it's not going to get too bad. With them cutting Norway and Sweden's parts off, which is even crazy. With Finland and Russia holding this front off. But they land in Italy again. Italy much weaker as it has like half its troops over there. With them thinking maybe they can stop it, but then they get weak. With them going up along the Black Sea and making a Crimea landing. Okay, I've figured out how to solve Crimea. Crimea doesn't belong to Ukraine or Russia. It belongs to America. Hey, that would be a good idea to give it to America. I'm sure Russia wouldn't attack America. With them getting right into Azerbaijan. And the retreating Russians retreat away from the Caucasus. With this front getting stuck in the Alps. So what do you think they do? Oh, they land in Croatia and Bosnia. But the front speeds up pretty fast as well. Bosnia's weak. With German forces trying to hold them back, but not doing anything except hold a stalemate here. But France, thinking it's not going to get landed in, gets landed all over the place. They also land Belgium and the Netherlands. German forces withdraws along with French till they can create a strong hold. But the problem is they lose some hold in the Balkans. And this allows Russia to be the only one there. Finland's fronts start getting weak by countless American barrages. With winter seeming not to work as well because America just borrowed all of Canada's winter gear. And well, Paris falls, and they are completely kicked out, and Germany's pushed back far. With them invading northern Germany, and America has finally taken St. Petersburg and is going down into the Baltics. With them seeing, they can just encircle them, so they go up here. And they chew off the weaker side, which is Poland and Germany. But still not strong. They're like 25 and 20. Germany's stronger than Poland, but not by much, I'm pretty sure. With Kiev falling and Ukraine capitulates, and Belarus is forced into capitulation. And well, with them being pushed, they take the coast, and eventually they take Moscow. But this isn't enough to make Russia surrender for some reason. So they do this. Still not enough, still not enough, still not enough. And now they turn Europe into a bunch of puppet states, which join the North America League, which has changed to the New World Order. Hey, that's funny to call this the New World Order. And they turn it into like 3 states. Ooh. They just make it one country, make all these states like the US. And that's all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, but not only subscribe. Bye, guys. But please subscribe so we can get to 2,800 subscribers by July 1st, which is our goal. Wild Mapper out.